So today's my dehydrating day, and I'm going to be dehydrating some eggs and also the eggshells that I have been collecting for about 2 months now. So it doesn't do any good to fire up my dehydrator unless I can fill all 6 shells, which I'm going to do today. So I got 2 shelves of eggshells, and then I have 4 shelves of racks so I can put my my scrambled eggs in. And these are some silicone trays that I got, I guess a couple of months ago, and they're just perfect for this kind of project. I make my roll-ups in here also, and you notice that I have all of my trays with paper towels in them after I wash them. Living here in the desert, no matter how many times you dust, you always end up with a fine layer of dust on everything. So after I wash these, I just put the paper towels on top, and that way I know that they're going to stay kind of dust free and clean. So there you go. And I keep these on the top, and I'll reuse them when I get done with this project. Alright, so let's get started on the eggs. Okay, this message is for my seniors. Now, every time I go to the grocery store, I shop once a month, and I always buy at least, well, now there's a limit on them, so I get 2 of these, and there's 24 eggs per case, or per package. So I keep one like this in the fridge, and then I dehydrate the other one. And this is a collection of 48 eggs. So as I dehydrate them, I just put them in here, and then I reseal the jar and store it in my storage cabinet. So I end up buying, 2 cases of eggs. I dehydrate one, and then I keep one out for my baking and stuff like that. Sophie loves my dehydrated eggs for some reason. She just absolutely loves them. I mean, it's just perfect. Alright, so let me get started, and let's get started, shall we? Oh, and yes, my tooth feels much better. Tomorrow, let's see, Wednesday, I'm going back to get the permanent crown on, and then I'm going to be good to go. So nice to eat It's so nice to eat normal food now. I always keep a bag in the freezer for my eggshells. And here's my jar for the empty eggs. And I'll be using my little handheld mixer with the wire whisk. And after I dehydrate them and dry them out, I'm going to use probably my 30-year-old Mr. Coffee grinder. And this little bad boy still works, so hey, don't judge. Alright, I got my dehydrator set for 10 hours and I'll check it throughout the day, and the temperature that I'm rolling it on is 140 degrees. And this is a very tedious project right here, and I find it, as odd as it is, I find it very satisfying, and it takes my mind off all the craziness and is something I can do without thinking about it. So if you need something to take your mind off the crazy, hey, this is the project for you. Try doing this, you'll be alright. And sometimes the membrane comes out in one piece just like this, and other times it fights me and it comes out in little tiny pieces where I usually get aggravated, and then I throw it away and start all over again. But as you can see here, it comes, see, there's one here. See how it comes off in pieces? Yeah, that's pretty aggravating, but that's okay, because when I dehydrate these eggs, I need to have them squeaky clean with no membrane in them. Alright, I'm done with this project for today, and it looks like I have 9 hours and 41 minutes left on the dehydrating process. So the eggshells back there, I'm going to let them sit on the paper towel until they dry, and then I will squish them up and put them in that Ziploc bag there. My dehydrated eggs, those are going back in my storage closet. These are going back in the fridge. And this is the garbage that I took out of the eggshell, so those are, all that stuff is going in the garbage. I have no need for that. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. During my downtime, while I was waiting for my jaw to feel better, I decided to crochet me a beanie cap for Black History Month. And these are the colors of Black History. And I love my beanie cap because it keeps my head nice and warm, and it keeps my ears nice and warm. Alright, it's the next day, and in this video clip I'm going to show you 2 different ways of grinding up your dehydrated eggs. Now I'm using my 30-year-old Mr. coffee grinder, and I like it so much better because it grinds it up like a nice soft powder. Now when I grind up my dehydrated eggs using my NutriBullet, it does an okay job, but it still leaves a few hard pieces in there, and I ended up having to pour my dehydrated eggs after I grind them up with using my NutriBullet. I have to pour them through a strainer to make sure I get all those little hard spots out of there if I use my NutriBullet. And you'll see right here what I mean. It looks okay, but I can see the little hard spots in there. And you'll see them too in just 1 second. And see, you can see the hard spots. Hey, there's something to be said for having old equipment that still works, and I like that much better because I don't have to, when I grind up my dehydrated eggs using my Mr. Coffee grinder, it grounds it up into a perfect powder, and I don't have to strain it, you know, when I pour it out. So I will be using the Mr. Coffee grinder. Yep, see, this is a no. I'm pushing it aside, and then I'm going to have to redo it. Here I'm pointing out the dehydrated eggs, and I can tell that they're not completely dry. So the purpose of grinding them up and dehydrating them again, and I'll do that process for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And I want to make sure that my dehydrated eggs are completely dry before I put them in my storage cabinet, because I want to make sure that they are shelf stable. So that's the purpose of this exercise here. And as you can see, those eggs that I ground up in my Mr. Coffee grinder, they are so powdery, and this is my go-to from now on until it conks out on me. Alright, so this is the last batch of my dehydrated eggs, and the first batch you didn't see me grind up because I thought I hit the record button and I didn't, so I'm just talking away thinking that I'm recording, and I wasn't. Oh Lord, I told you the creator's struggle is real. Old age has nothing to do with it, so don't say it. Okay, I'm going to smooth these out real quick, and then I'll put this tray in the dehydrator. I noticed on all 4 of my trays that all the eggs that were to the back of the dehydrator, they really didn't dehydrate completely, and I can tell by the color on the top. They were darker on the top, and then when I flipped it over, you could see that the egg was still raw underneath. So I collected all the pieces that didn't dehydrate properly and dehydrated them a little bit longer, and here I'm grinding them all up, and then I will put everything in the dehydrator and see if I can get everything dried out properly. Now I'm going to run these pieces through the strainer because I could tell by the sound that there's still a few hard pieces in there, and you'll see them here in just a second. And you can also see that it's not quite dry. I unplugged my coffee grinder so I wouldn't electrocute myself. Plug it back in, and then I'm going to run them again. And run them back through the strainer one last time. Unplug it. Take the rest of that out of there. And then run them through the strainer one more time. And I know this is a lot of work, and it's a major project. Yes, it is, but it truly is a labor of love. And I now have the wonderful feeling of knowing that I have eggs in my house, in my storeroom. So in the event that I can't find eggs at the store, I know that me and Sophie will have eggs, and that's a good thing. And if you don't have an actual dehydrator, you can dehydrate your eggs in the oven. Just make sure that you have the temperature set at the lowest possible temperature, and don't let it get any hotter than 140 degrees. And you will have the peace of mind knowing that your family will have eggs in the event that you can't find eggs in the store. And I've also seen a lot of people on YouTube, and they freeze their eggs. There's a lot of different options out there to preserve your eggs. Do your research, check it out, and don't be the one with no eggs in your house when your kids want pancakes and eggs. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, and this is the last tray. So I should be loading up my dehydrator here in a second. Okay, I got 3 trays in there. And this is cilantro that I'm dehydrating from my garden. Every time I get enough to dehydrate, I dehydrate it. And look, That's from the same little plant. See? Waste not, want not. That is from my garden. I'm growing that cilantro and I'm so happy. Okay. Let's get this show started. 140 for an hour and a half. Well, maybe I'll go 2 hours. I'll check it after 2 hours. Hit start. We're good to go. This is the last part of my dehydrating project, and that's grinding up the eggshells. And one thing about eggshells, they're a great source of calcium, as you've heard me mention that before. I sprinkle the egg powder in my garden. I sprinkle some on Sophie's food. I put some in my, if I'm making a smoothie, I put a tablespoon or so in my smoothie. And I always have eggshells in the freezer. Every time I make eggs for me and Sophie, I keep the eggshells, I wash them all, peel the membrane out, put them in a plastic bag and keep them in the freezer. When I get enough, and if I'm doing a dehydrating project, I just do dehydrate the eggshells all at one time. My little Mr. Coffee grinder does a great job in grinding up these eggshells and turning them into powder. And one thing about these silicone trays, they wash up and clean up beautifully. And this is another thing that I like to do right after I get done with my dehydrating project, is just wash these off so they'll be ready to go for the next time. And it just saves me a lot of time. I don't have to think about it. I just do it automatically. Just wash them real good in soapy water. And then I'm going to pat them dry with a paper towel. And then you'll see here shortly when I put the paper towel inside the silicone trays, and then I store them in the dehydrator. And they're ready for the next project. And here's my cilantro. I love the idea of having dehydrated cilantro on hand at all times, and it's really good in my Mexican food. You know, I love to cook a lot of tacos. I love to make salsa and corn relish, and I use it in all that, and it's just wonderful. And if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and spending a few minutes of your time with me. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up and let YouTube know that you enjoyed the content. And if you aren't a subscriber yet, please think about it. Hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And I hope that you stop by again anytime. Just check out what I'm doing. And I hope you guys are all staying safe and warm and healthy. Oh, and I shot this part of the video the day after I had my last dental appointment, so my jaw was feeling kind of wonky that day, and I really didn't feel like eating a whole bunch of food, so I didn't rehydrate the eggs so you could see how they look once they're cooked. Now, I will do that in the next video, so stay tuned. Alrighty? Now, you guys, once again, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you are all safe and well. Okay? Be blessed. Keep on cooking. And dehydrate you some eggs.